r/AskReddit asks, serious. Iranians of Reddit, how do you feel about the attack that killed Qassem Soleimani? Fun fact: we can't express ourselves even in here because there might be consequences and who knows who's watching, so yeah. Almost all VPNs in Iran are actually secretly sold by a branch of government. They make money by controlling all you do on the internet. Don't care about the guy, worried about the war. As an American, so am I. A good chunk of us don't even fucking like Donald Trump, and we're pissed that he's done something like this. Glad to know that not all of Iran hates America. WW3 sounds horrific. A bit of a sore victory. My family is glad he's dead, as he's the one behind the scenes giving orders to shoot over 1,500 protesters in the last month. We are glad this evil fuck is dead, but sad that innocent civilians have to suffer what comes next. Not really sure how to feel at this point. We just want what was stolen from us when the CIA removed our first democratically elected official for the Shah. Democracy in Iran. Yeah, Iran has so much potential. If only it wasn't stuck under an authoritarian theocracy. It's great and bad at the same time. It's good because it's a chance for the Iranian regime to change, and majority of all Iranians want that. They want the mullahs out of the country. They are literally destroying the country into pieces, and they know it. It's bad because a war of some sort will erupt, no doubt about it. If it occurs near the end of the Trump presidency, he will get re-elected to continue the war. And it's also bad because people are going to die, which sucks. Personally, I'm happy because I really want the regime to change. I don't want people to die, but with any war, you can't get around that. It's fucked up. I have family in Israel. Iran won't strike the US. They will strike Israel through proxy militias in Lebanon, Syria and the PA in retaliation, which means more Israeli airstrikes against Iranian targets in Lebanon, Syria and Palestinian Authority, and those people are just innocent bystanders of the US vs Iran conflict. I understand that Israel needs to stem the tide of Iranian hardware reaching the hands of Hezbollah. During the 80s and 90s they were regularly using Katyusha and mortars to shell northern Israel, as well as fueling Islamic Jihad and Hamas rocket attacks in Israel. But the people who end up getting bombed are not the ones who deserve it. They are usually just puppets of a bigger scene. I live in Iran and I am happy. Here in my country the media is saying he was a national hero and the whole country is in mourning. As an Iranian, I'm super happy. Soleimani was a terrorist. It's silly to me when people dislike the US military instead of directing that negativity towards the US government. It's not like the military gets to decide to be involved in wars and shit. That decision-making is done by the executive and legislative branches of government. If people don't like that the US military is killing people abroad, they need to hold the White House and Congress accountable, not the military and intelligence community. Sure, there are cases of war crimes and such when direct actors in the military overstep humane bounds. But that's not my point. My point is those crimes don't occur if the military isn't authorized to operate in that country at all in the first place, which is a decision that can be made by the aforementioned government entities. Don't blame the military for being effective at its function, blame the government for defining the scope of this function poorly. American living in Iran here, I love the fact that this puts some fear in the regime that has killed, tortured and jailed so many Iranians. I'm pretty sure none of the upper echelon of Iranian government got any sleep last night for a change. Iran has no budget left for starting a war. They take like leeches to fuel their children abroad, living lavish lifestyles or making unnecessary conflicts in the region to isolate Iran from other countries while spreading their plague of fake Islam. I do hope the US has strategies for dealing with Iran even further, because they will definitely try to stir something in the region. Oh, and also the Iranian government has a very large troll army branch of military intelligence that has employees each piloting multiple accounts on social media posting positive things about Soleimani and the supreme leader, so don't believe everything you see. Soleimani was a monster. You hear on the news he killed as many Syrians, Iraqis and even Americans, but they don't say how many Iranians he has ordered to be killed on the streets. A lot of innocent people are going to pay heavy prices over this. A lot of innocent people have already been paying the price through violence brought on them by Iranian-backed terrorist groups. People, I'm Iranian and also a Muslim, but it doesn't mean that I'm a terrorist or a bad person. Trust me, not a single soul of our country wants this war, but our leaders are just so dumb that they don't understand how this will end. If this war happens, there will be catastrophic effects to all the countries in it. We tried to get rid of some of the stupid people in our government, but the moment we do something, they just start a killing spree and kill everything, I mean it, in their way. If you want to help, don't kill innocent people. Help us to get rid of these people. Concern for both us and American citizens, not America's government, since we're just puppets in the hands of our current governments. Sadly, if anything happens because of today's events, a stupid war for example, we are the ones who will suffer the most for it. I just hope no one is stupid enough to punch first. Right, we're not our governments. It's all sad. It just ends in people killing people they don't even know. Leaders from every country should be forced to eat meals, dance, and watch Pixar movies together. It's Iran. You don't know what actually happened despite of the stories on the news. I just hope his death won't affect our already fragile country in any way. I feel very good about it and maybe it can happen again soon. I hope next one will become an AA. I'm glad we got another terrorist, but I'm sad and angry because my brother is supposed to come home in February. So who knows, his tour could be extended, he could come home for 2 months and be asked to go back out, or, knowing him, he'll volunteer to go out to Israel. That frightens me because he's so young and has so much potential. Hi Iranian here, these can go two ways. One, Iran will take revenge because of it, and that will make the terrible situation in Middle East even worse. If Iran attacks USA directly, things will go bad real soon, or maybe even a world war will start. But if Iran attack us indirectly, like a proxy war or SDH, it may not be as bad too. Iran will clamp down, which will probably not happen, and things will calm down as well. P.S. Some people here are sad and some of them are not. So it's not like everyone is happy or sad, but everyone is definitely worried about the whole thing. I remember that back when ISIS was in its peak, me and a lot of other Iranians were really terrified about ISIS invading Iran. But now, around 5 or 6 years later, ISIS is more or less gone. Soleimani played a big part in removing ISIS from Iraq. He wasn't the kind of general that would yell in front of a microphone saying how evil America is. In fact, he was pretty quiet. Many people think that Iran wanted to increase its influence in Iraq, which is probably true, but all in all, losing a competent general surely isn't a good thing for a nation. A controlled-minded nation with masterpiece tactics applied on won't be aware of the damage he caused to the Middle East. Yes, indeed, in case of ISIS, he had done a great job, but what was the actual achievements? You can answer it by looking at Syria leaving millions of people homeless in order to keep Assad in power. Qassem Soleimani was a terrorist who killed thousands and was planning terrorist attacks on foreign soil, and most memes, celebrities and political figures claiming that Trump was the aggressor is wrong. The general populace are happy but concerned despite what the news shows. He was a military dictator in the shadows and killed many during the recent protests. I know it's a dick move, but I'm happy he's dead. There is talk of revenge from the regime, but both sides know it'll come to war if they try to pull any shit. Bottom line, very concerned. Maybe it was necessary and appropriate, not enough information and just yet on just that. But what I am more concerned about is what happens next, in the next weeks and months. Trump seems to want war and military conflict, and almost at times seems like he has sought it. Now he has it. Trump seems to be a personality who needs or constantly wants to be in conflict with someone over something all the time. Now he's got it on a global stage, and that is worrisome. Even if the killing of Soleimani was justified, now he has an excuse to wield our military powers, and I don't think he is really smart enough to properly handle it. I fear he may be thinking this a path to his re-election, and that really scares the hell out of me, because we have been very reluctant to change presidents during the military conflict. This could be the trigger to an overdue stock market downturn, more than a correction and a run-up in world oil prices. I think no matter what he does, we are not in for some rough economic times. Good, he had the blood of many Americans on his hands. Iran isn't going to do anything. They may be crazy, but they're not stupid. They know we can easily annihilate their country and regime. We have the two largest air forces and enough nearby forces to invade if necessary. If they do, it will be through some terrorist-backed organization, but they're not stupid enough to knowingly draw the might of the US military towards their direction.